No one came.
Hmm?
No one came.
No issues. What we can do is we can just get started with the things, and people will be joining on the time as they are, right?
Okay.
So floor is all yours, Sunny. So before you get started, let me introduce you to the world. So today, hi everyone. We welcome you all to our session, and primarily this session is going to be about arrays, their basics, how you create them, define them, how you make them work in terms of the traversal and the other things. And we have our expert, Mr. Sunny, who is basically an alumnus of Triple IT Ranchi, and he has been doing his competitive programming practice since his college days, and you can find him on the Lead Code and the Code Forces. So this is what is a brief introduction about him, and I'll be handing over the session to him, and he's going to take the further set of things, and he's going to be interacting with you guys. So at this point of time, we are just touching upon the basics, but going forward, we will be looking forward to have a feedback from you, and then based on that, we are going to have these sessions around it. So with that said, it's all done from my side. Over to you, Sunny, and uh, uh,
Thank you,
let's
sir.
welcome all once again. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for introduction to me. Okay, should I start?
All is yours.
Okay, thank you. So, hi guys, good evening. And the today topic is array and their basics and their basics. And we will see some problems on that by using a platform called Lead Codes, and also maybe Code Forces. Okay, so for the array, there are some prerequisite, like you will have an idea about like loops and what data types. There are some primitive data types in C++, Java, um, int, and float, and double. Okay, and maybe some character for. Okay, so before starting the array, firstly I just wanted to why we need array, why we need array. Okay, why we need array. So let's take a scenario, uh, and int is a what, data structure, a data type where you can store the integer value. Okay, or you can say just like container uh, or box. Types of is what, integer, and where you store the value. Okay, integer value. So just like that, if you have if you have if you have uh, hundreds of students and their corresponding marks, like in a schools or class, in a school, in a class, there are 100 students and their marks. Okay, So I just wanted to do you know, like if you have 100 students, like S1 have like 100 marks, int S2 have 120 marks, and int S3 have 130 130 marks, and so on till 100, till 100 is 100 have a marks is 75. Okay, so if you are go to store the marks in a students, every students, so there are bunch of lines of code, hundreds from 1 to 3 through the 100 till the 100. Okay, so kind of just time taking process, and you have to declare hundreds variable, hundreds bunch of containers, and in that containers you have to just put the their corresponding marks. Okay, and if I want to, if I say, if you have to print their marks, their corresponding students, so just you have to print c out their students name and their what corresponding marks through the 1 to like a 100, 1 2 3 from 100. Okay, so just kind of what time taking, and also there are bunch of lines of code, so kind of it's a messy. Okay, so then after, so there should be a way where you can store that marks for the corresponding students into a one containers, or maybe some same kind of containers where you can put uh, all the student marks into that one place. Okay, so these things we can do from array. Okay, by using array. So what array is, basically array is a uh, data structure, data structure hello, hi Nikita. Okay, hello, hi Nikita.
I think, Sunny, you can keep doing. Uh,
Okay,
it's okay.
okay, sorry, I thought it's a student.
You can just keep going with the session.
Okay,
Once they join, I'll manage with them.
okay. So array is a data structure where where you can you can put the values, whatever their types, like integers and double and floating and character. Okay, just like a containers, and containers in a contiguous manner in the you can say, uh, if if their if their address is like a, and their address for the second block is what, a plus maybe some 4, a plus 8, a plus 12, and a plus 16. Okay, so just like that. So in short, you can say that array is a container where you can put a value in a block. This is the block, this is the contiguous block, where you can put the value in a contiguous block of the same data types, value of the same data types value, same data types value, same data types in the sense, like if you have an integer value, so in all the block there should be an integer value. Okay, if I want to put a floating value, so in uh, all the blocks there should be a floating value. Okay, and there are some other data types like double and again character. This is the primitive data type. Okay, okay, So let's take an example. uh, there are 5 students. There are 5 students. Okay. S1 have a marks 10, S2 have a marks 20, and S3 marks have a 40, and S4 marks have a 50, and S5 sorry, S5 have a marks 60. Okay. So before you know the array, what you will do is you declare S1 have tens. It means there is a block called variable name is S1 for the student S1, and in that block there is a value is 10. It represents that for the students their corresponding marks is 10. Okay. For the second students also you have declared S2 variables, and in that S2 variables their value is 20. So again there is another container or block called variables name S2 for the second students, and in that blocks there is value is 20. Okay, and so on for the 5 students. Okay. So in array there is a container. Okay, for the understanding purpose, and in that container there is a contiguous block, and this container's name is marks. You can name it marks and whatever you want. Okay. And there are 5 blocks. So there are 5 blocks. Okay. So this block for the S1 students, this block for the students, this block for the S3 students, and this block for the 4th student, this block for the 5th students. Okay. And in that blocks you can put the value 10, 20, 40, and 50, and what 60. Okay. So by using this you cannot uh, and what like you cannot declare of 5 again integer different variables like S1, S2, S3, and S4 and S5. Okay. So only you have to declare one variable's names, and in that variables names have blocks, contiguous blocks S1, S2, S3, S4, and S5. Their value is 10, 20, 40, and 50, and 60. Okay. So in integer, if you declare integer a is 10, so in memory there is some address, like address you can say x y not xyz, let's say 100,000. So in memory there is a address 1000 for a variables. Okay. And in that address there is a variables names a, and in that block there is a value is 10. So also here there is some address for the every blocks, like if this block have a address 1000, and integer data types takes 4 byte of memory in a 4 bytes of memory space. Okay, 4 byte of space, and 1 byte 1 byte takes 8 bits. Okay, 1 byte take 8 bits. So and here is 4 bytes, so total 32 bits maximum value stored in a integer data type. Okay. So if this block has an address 1000, so the next contiguous block address should be 1004, and again for say student S3 have an address value is 1008, because integer takes 4 bytes of memory. Okay. So for a student S1 takes 1000 address. So second student have address memories 1004, for S3 is 1008, and S4 is 1012, and S3 is what 1016. Okay. So this is the address in a contiguous manner. If you access this block, you can also access this block by moving the 4 unit of distance, or you can say by adding 4 unit of value. Okay. Okay, so now the comes part is, uh, if you see integer a is 10, so this is the data type, this is the data type, this is the data type, and this is the containers name, or you can say variables names, you can say variables name, and this is the what, uh, values, value, not values, values in that container. Okay. Okay, so same for the array. So how we declare a array and how we initialize the array. Okay, declaration of array, declaration of the array, and initialization of the array, of the array. Okay, so same, if I want to take 5 students and their corresponding marks, and their corresponding marks in a integer format. Okay, so we have to declare int, which is the data types. Okay, and there is a containers name, or you can say marks for the 5 students, and uh, there is a square braces, and there is 5 students, so it represents the size of the uh, array, or you can say size of the, or you can say number of contiguous block in a container. Okay, so 10, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Okay, so this is the data types and integer data types, and all the containers have an integers value 10, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Okay, and this is the containers name marks have a number of block is 5, so there are 5 blocks in a contiguous manner, have a value is in each block is 10, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Okay, so this is the marks, which is the container name, or you can say variables names, and this is the 5, this is the variable name, variable name, and this is the size of the array. Okay, and this is the initialization part, this is the initialization. Okay, so let's take another example. Int array of size is 5, and 10, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Okay, so there is a containers, the name is array, and there is 5 blocks, 5 contiguous block, so 10, 12, 13, 14, and 15. So after inserting value in the blocks, or you can say container, how will I access that value? How we will access that value? Let's suppose if we have a barabar 10. Okay, so integer a, container name a has a value is 10, so you directly access the value by printing the a value. Okay, so in array there is some way to access the values through the each blocks. So there is a called indexing, there is a indexing. Okay, there is a called indexing. So indexing is what? So this container name is array, and starting block have a in index 0, or you can say entrance 0, and after uh, going 1, 2, 3, and 4. So starting from 0 till n minus 1. N minus 1 in the sense, if the container size has 5, it means if a block, or you can say container, have a 5, so it means from 0 to 5 minus 1. Okay, so this is the indexing. Or let's say example, let's take an example. So this is the table. Okay, and in table there are some desktop place in it. Okay, and in place A there is a laptop called Windows. In place of B there is a desktop has Mac, you can say. In C there is again Windows, and again in place of D again a desktop name is desktop, again Mac 1, Mac 0, Windows 1, Windows 0. Okay, so how will you access the Windows 1? So there is some address for it which is called C. So by if I give you a address C, so if you go C and just pick up that laptop. Okay, again if I give you address B, so you will have a Mac laptop. If I'll give you address D, so you will have a Mac 1 laptop. Okay, so same here, this is the kind of address or indexing. Okay, if I'll give you a index 2, so index 2 have a value is 13. If you go index 2, so you will found a value is 13. If you go index 3, you will found a value 14. Okay, so how will you find? So there is a containers name a, and a square braces. In a square braces, if you put into the address like 3, so in 3 index there is a value is 14, so you will found a value is 14. Okay, if I give you index 4, so in index 4 there is a value is 15, you will found a value is 15. Okay, again if I give you at index 6, so there is no index 6, because in that container there is only 5 blocks, 5 containers, and their namings: 0th index, 1 index, 2 index, 3 index, and 4 index. There is no 5 index and 6 index. So if you want to access the values at index 6, you will get an error. You will get an error. You will get an error. Okay, also if you want to access the value -1, so again indexing start from 0. There is no -1, there is no -2, there is no -3. So again you will get an error. Okay, you will get an error. Okay, so you should not you should you will get value from 0 to n-1, and this is the n basically represent the number of a block, number of block, not a number of block in that containers, in that container. Okay, container. So this is the indexing. Okay, now the comes part is after inserting after inserting um, five values, 1 2 3 4 and 5. How will I access those value? So by using traversing. Okay, and you know the concept loop. There are some loop concept. There are three types of loop. One is the for loop, second one is do while loop, and the third one is while loop. Okay, we will use for loop. We can use also do while loop and while loop. Okay, so how we'll run a loop for the accessing the values in that container. Okay, so and you know, like integer array have size 5 and value is 1 2 3 4 5, and their indexing start from 0 to n minus 1. Basically n is the size of the uh, containers, or you can say array. 1 2 3 4. Okay, so from 0 to n minus 1 we have to run a loop. Okay, so for loop int I barabar from 0 to I less than 5 and I plus plus. Okay, so see out the variables names is array and square braces index I. Okay, so what will happen after this? So you are starting from I 0 and goes to 5 till 5, and this is the post increment operator, which is the imply I is equal to I plus 1. Okay, so at I barabar 0 array of 0 index, this, if I'll go 0th index, we will found the values 1, so the value I will get 1. Okay, again after this statement there is no statement. Okay, so again this come to this place, which is the post increment operator, and I is equal to 0, so 0 plus 1 uh, goes to 1, and again I is equal to 1, so again it's check whether the condition is true or false. So 1 is less than 5, so condition is true. Again this come into the loop again. Now the I is equal to 1, so array of 1. So at one index you will get a value 2. Now the value print 2. Okay, again there is no statement. This come to this place, like again I is equal to 1, so 1 plus 1 again is equal to 2. Sorry, value is 2. So again check the condition whether the condition is true or false. So 2 is less than 5, so condition is true. Again this will print value is at 2 index you will get a value is 3, and so on 5. Okay, so this is the way you can access the value from the array, or you can say the container where the block is in a contiguous manner. And we will say using an id, we will write the whole codes. Okay, so let's dive into the VS code. Okay, just make a new file, array basic C++. Okay, so in C++, first of all you have to declare a libraries which is has include bits std plus plus dot h, and using namespace std int main, then after int marks, or you can also name array, have size number of contiguous block is 5, have initial value is 11, 12, 13, 14 and 15. Okay, so okay, so int is basically what? Data type. Basically it represents that you have to insert a value in that blocks, only integer value. Okay, so this is the integer data type. And after array, this is the block container name, or you can say variable name. Okay, and this is the size of the array, or you can say uh, number of contiguous block in that container. Contiguous block in that container. Okay, and this is the 11, 12, 13, 14 and 15 is their initial value in that container. Their initial value in that container, not in that container, in that blocks. Okay, so after inserting those value, I have to just run the loop from 0 to n minus 1, basically 5 and I plus plus, and just print their values. Okay, so this will run from I run loop from 0 1, sorry, 0 1 2 3 and 4. So there is a 5 contiguous block from 0 to n minus 1. Okay, if I run this code, we will get a values 11, 12, 13, 14 and 15. Okay, so this is the values we will get. I will get 11, 12, 13, 14 and 15. Okay, so this is the traversing part. After whenever you insert a value in a container. Okay, so we will see some problems on a LeetCodes. Let's take a moment. Okay, let's open LeetCode. Okay, and another part is which is a time complexity. We will solve a problem after this time complexity. Okay, just wait. This one. Time complexity. Okay, So what is the time complexity? Basically, this is the times to take and to take run an algorithm to any compilers or any IDE. Okay, so if you see, if you take an example, let's take an example. There is a shop, and there are a person who is standing in a queue. Okay, there are tens of persons: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, and this is the shop. This is the ticket counter. This is the ticket counter for the movie, for this movie. Okay, so for the first person, after taking a ticket, it will take 1 second. Okay, it will take 1 second for the any for the each persons. Okay, so for first person it will take 1 second, for second person it will take 1 second, and for the third person it will take 1 second for this movie's ticket in this counter. Okay, so for the 10th person it will goes to 10. Okay, total it will get 10 seconds. So this is time taken by this shop to distribute a movie ticket for the 10th people, for the 10th person. Okay, this is the time taken by the movie shop. Okay, so also in a data structure and algorithm, where you will be find an time complexity for an algorithm or any kind of process. Okay, if we have an array of 6 sides. Okay, so 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay, so in this container there are 6 blocks. There are 6 blocks. The in this block there is values 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. Okay, so access the value for the block 1, it will take O of 1 unit of time. O of 1 unit of time. Okay, for the accessing second unit of block, second index blocks 0s, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, it will take again O of 1 unit of time. Again for third block it will take O of 1 unit of time, O of 1 unit of time, and again it will take again O of 1, it will take O of 1, it will take O of 1. Okay, so if you sum this time, it will take O of 6 unit of time. So this is the time taken by the person who traversing from 0th to letter n minus 1. Okay, so in short, if you run a loop from 0 to n minus 0 to n, and in this loop there is one statement, or you can write one or two or three statements like int, not int, if you want to print values I, and again see out it will values I plus 1. Okay, okay, so it will take O of 1 unit of time, it will take O of 1 unit of time. Okay, so and you are running a loop from 0 to n. Okay, so it will take for ith, for I barabar 0, we are printing of values I and I plus 1. Okay, and again for I for 1, it will we are printing the values I and I plus 1. Again for I barabar 3, we are printing a value I and I plus 1, and so on till the n, till n I barabar n, we are printing a value I and I plus 1. Okay, so if I sum this part, it goes to O of 2n. O of 2n. Okay, so on and O of 2n, approximately this is O of n, because this is the constant part and you can ignore this part. Okay, this is the constant. Okay, so on an average the time complexity of this loop is O of n. Okay, so this is the time taken by an algorithm Okay, time complexity basically is the time complexity basically is the is it is the time taken, it is the time taken by an algorithm uh, by using on a compiler, you can say on a compiler. Okay, okay, now the time complexity is done, and after this we will solve some problems. Okay, then after we will see some operation on an array, like there are some operation on an array, inserting a value, inserting a value, uh, either beginning or middle, or sorry, inserting a value, starting, or you can say beginning of the array, or middle, or end of the array. This is the operation. And you can also there are some operation like rotating the array, and reversing the array. We will see this kind of stuff after the solving one basic problem, array basic. Okay, so I have to go lead code and just in a problem section, and in array section, by sorting there by acceptance rate. Okay, not acceptance rate, you can use difficulty. Okay, so let's take an example. Let's take an I have a problems. Okay, let's take just a bit. Yes, running sum of 1D array. So the question is, just reset this code. So the question is, you are given an array, which is the variable's name is nums. We define a running sum of an array as running sum of I is equal to sum of nums of from 0 to I. Okay, returning the running sum of nums. So basically the question says, you are given an array, you are given a nums array have values 1 2 3 4. Okay, and you will have to calculate running sum array. Basically I'll just write in short form, running sum array in a way that sum of from 0th index to I index. Okay, so let's take an example. Nums is equal to 1 2 3 and 4. Okay, so this is the array. Okay, we have, and indexing is 0 1 2 3. So at 0th index the value is 1, at 1 index the value is 2, and 2 index the value is 3, and 3 index the value is 4. And we will have to calculate the running sum array, which is the sum of from 0 to ith index. Okay, so let's take an example. Array, if running sum array have ith value is 0, we will have a I barabar 0. So we'll have to calculate sum of array from 0 to 0. So basically index from 0 to 0. So in this array from 0 to 0 the value is only 1. So the running sum array for the index 0 is answer is 1. Okay. Now for the index 1. So array index 1 is equal to sum of from index 0 to index 1. So I have a array 1, 2, 3, and 4, and index is 0, 1, 2, 3. So from 0 to 1, the at 0th index the value is 1. At 1 index the value is 2. After summing this value the answer is 3. So running sum array for the index 1 is 3. Okay. Again, for the running sum array for index 2, we'll have to calculate the sum from 0 to index 2. Index 2. So again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 0, 1, 2, 3. And at 0th index, the value is 1. At 1 index, the value is 2. At 2 index, the value is 3. After summing this value, the answer is 6. The 4 for index 2, the answer is 6. Again, for index 3, the answer is 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4. We will get answer is 10. Okay. So after this, if I write the final running sum array, at 0th index, the value is 1. At 1 index, 2, sorry, not 2, basically 1 plus 2, 3. And for index 2, it will have 6. And for index 3, it will 10. So this is my final answer for this problem, for this test case. Okay. And we will given by an array nums is equal to 1, 2, 3, and 4. So this is the answer for this test case. Okay. So how we will code this part? Let's see in a VS Code. Okay. So let's make another file. The question is 1480.cpp. Okay. So firstly, we will add a header file using namespace std and then int main. So if you see an array given nums is equal to 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. So for finding the running sum array, we'll have to run a loop from 0 to n minus 1, from 0 to n minus 1. Okay. So it's clear that we have to use a one loop which is running from I from 0 to n. Okay. Because there are n element. Okay. And they are contiguous. Okay. So for n element, and if the n is 10 to the power 5, so you will not write 10 to the power 5 number of lines code. Okay, that kind of bunch of lines of code and kind of time taking. So for that you will have to run a loop from 0 to n, if the n is 10 to the power 5 in worst case. Okay, if n is 2 3 4, you can write without using a loop. Okay, but the thing is, if the n is bigger, you will have to use a loop. Okay, and there is some another part is summing. You are adding a value from at any index from 0 to I. Okay, so you will have to take an integer value which will store the sum, temporary sum, at any index, at each index, and their initial value is 0, because you are summing the value from 0 to I. So at before running the loop, there should be a 0 value as a temporary sum, because we are not adding any value before the 0th index. Okay, so for that we'll have to take an temporary variables which is called temp sum, and their initial value should be 0. Okay, and we'll have to run a loop from 0 to n minus 1. Okay, so at 0th index the value is 1. So in temp sum plus nums of I, nums of I. So see, the I is equal to 0. So at 0th index the value is 1, and before 0th index the temporary sum value is 0. So 1 plus 0, it will get 1. So at 0th index the running sum array is what? 1. Okay, after there is no statement, so it will goes to this place, post increment operator. So I is 1, so it will get 1. So again we will check the condition, whether the condition is true or not. If the condition is true, again we will run the loop. If the condition is false, we will out the loop, for loop. Okay, so 1 is the less than 5, less than 4. So again temp sum is now 1, plus at one index the value is 2. So 1 plus 2 is 3. So at one index the value is 3, and in this place the temporary sum is 3. Okay, so now there is no statement. It will come here. Again I is equal to 1. Again from 1 to 2. So again at 2 index the value is 3. The value is 3, and temp sum is 3. So 3 plus 3, it will get 6 at 2 index. Okay, and so on. Okay, so this is the way. Okay, so we have an array which is called nums, have a size 5, 1 2 3 4 4 and 5. Okay, so we will take an temporary sum int 0 to 5, and temp sum, not temp sum Brawler, temp sum plus nums of I. Okay, and this temp sum will have to store an running array. Running array have a size 5, because the original array size is what? 5. So we'll have to make an also 5 size of running array. Then after we will assign the value, not array, of I is equal to temp sum. Okay, and after this, for printing the value, again we will have to run a loop from 0 to I and see out running array of I. So you will get answer of this array. This array 1 1 1, and at 2 index the answer is 1 plus 2 is 3, and 3 plus 3 is 6. 6 plus 4 is 10, and 10 plus 5 is 15. You will get this array in a running array after run the code. So 1, 3, 16, and 15. Okay, this is the code. Okay, so we will not just write the code here. So this is the function, has a return type is vector. You will have to store the running sum array into a vector or array. If you use Java, you can use list for that, or also yes, again integer array. So for that you will have to calculate the size of the array, and temp sum is equal to 0, and what you will have to run the loop from 0 to n, and temp sum plus nums of I, and you will have to declare an answer array. Yeah, running array have size is 1 n, and you will have to reassign the value into the temporary index, and just return the running array. Okay, if I ask you what will be the time complexity of this problem, if I ask you, to all of you, what will be the time complexity of this algorithm, or you can say a code. So in short, it will take what, O of 1 unit of time. It will take again O of big O of, if you know the big O of, it will take again O of 1 unit of time. Again, for declaring, it will take again O of 1 unit of time. And if you see, we are running a loop from 0 to n, so it will take O of n, O of n, because in that container there are n number of contiguous block. So you will have to go at every index for accessing their value. Okay, and again, this is the constant time taking for the summing part 1, and it will also get O of 1 unit of time. Okay, so if you sum this part, O of 1 plus O of 1 plus again O of 1 plus and O of n into how many times we are there are two statements in a loop, so it will take O of 1 plus O of 1. Okay, if you calculate, it will take O of 3 unit of time plus O of n into O of 2. So and this is the constant, so you can ignore this part. You can ignore O of 3 and O of 2, so it will take O of n unit of time. And basically this is the linear time complexity of this code. Linear time complexity of this linear time complexity. Okay, so if I submit this code, so you can also see the time complexity from here. Time complexity, it will take O of n. Okay, so this is the basic question of the basic array on a LeetCodes. Okay, there are some similar question you can solve on a homework way. Okay, so now the comes part is what, operations. Now the remaining part is operation. Okay. uh, Operation in an array, in an array. Okay. So if I ask you, let's take an example, or let's take one scenario. If I ask you, there are desk. Okay, there are desk. Okay, and there is a desktop placed in it. Okay. Okay, so at a index there is a laptop called C1, computer called C1. At index B, laptop as a computer C2, C as a computer C3, D as a computer C4, and E have a computer C5. And there is a one more place, index 5, there is no left, there is no computer, there is an empty space. There is an empty space. Okay. So if I ask you, to all of you, I have another laptop which is called CX. Okay, which is called CX, and I have to place into a first place and insert a address. You can say a address, or you can say first place of this desk. Okay, so what will you do? What will you do? The thing is, the you have comes idea like, if you can pick this laptop and just put into the last laptop. There is one way. There could be one way. There could be one way. Just pick C1 and just place into the F index. Okay, there is a way. There is a one of the way, but this way is wrong. Why wrong in an array? Because the and let's see, another base, another way would be, another way would be, just shift the laptop to the last index. Just shift the C5 to F index, just shift C4 D to E index, just shift the C computer into D address, just shift the C2 computer from B to C address, and just shift the C1 computer from A to B address. So automatically at A address will empty. So after this, you can place computer CX into first place. There is a one way. There is another way. One way is you can pick a C1 laptop from A index to and just put into the F index where the empty space. There is one way. But another way is also, just shift the laptop so that first place empty, and after that we can just place into it. Okay, so there is another way. Okay, so in an array there is a contiguous block. There is a contiguous block. Okay, so we are here, see, insertion operation at a beginning. We are taking one operation, which is the insertion operation at the beginning. Okay, so insertion operation takes maybe takes so if you just see here, if you just there is another way is shifting the laptop from last index, just this place to this place, this place to this place, so that the first place is empty, and after this we can place into a computer X. So it will take a process, what, O of n times. N times, why? Because there is a n laptop, or there is a one, there is n computer in a desk table. So you will have to shift n computer to the right side. So it will take what, O of n times, if there is n computer on a desk. Okay.
Sunny, are you there?
Yes, sir.
I think you can continue. There is a power cut, I believe. It will get restored in some time.
Okay.
Is it okay if you can, or
No, just this part completed. Then after we will end the session.
sorry?
This part will take 5 to 10 minutes. Then after we will end the session.
No issues. We can keep going.
Okay.
In case you want to continue, you can keep continuing.
Okay.
The
Okay.
light is going to be back.
Okay.
Sorry, guys. Sometime it happens.
Okay. No issues. Okay. So the thing is, we are on an insertion operation in an array. So if in a disk table have a n computer and we want to put another computer into the first place, so there is a way you can shift you can shift the computer so that first place become empty. Then after we will put into the laptop into first place. So it will take a process of n unit of time. Okay. So why this way is not working in array, we will see. This way is like if you pick if you just pick laptop from at index a and just put into the empty space. This is not a way in a array. Okay, so why, we will see. Okay, so the thing is, there are containers, okay, in an array which called you can name anything, nums. Okay. Okay, and there is a contiguous block. Okay, so in that block the value is 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Okay, not just take another empty block. This is the empty block. There is no values. Okay, there is no values in that block. Okay, this is the empty. Okay, the size of the array is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So the int you can name nums and 6, and the value is 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, and at index is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4. At 5 index there is no value. Okay, and the size is what, 6. Okay, and there is another value, integer value, int x barabar 10. I want to put this value into this place. Okay, I want to put this value into this place. Okay, so there is a way you can pick this value into this bucket. Okay, because this is the empty, and again this value into this. So after this, just take int x is equal to 10. So after the one operation, 5 will came here, and this is the again empty. This is the 4, this is the 3, this is the 2, this is the 1. This is the first operation. Okay, the second operation is, again you will pick this value and just put into the neighbors block. So again 5, 4, this will empty, this will 3, 2 and 1. Okay, so this is the second operation. Again, so again 5, 4, again this is the empty. Again you can shift this 3 value into this place. So 3, this will become empty, this is 2 and this is 1. This is the third operation. Okay, again after this this is 1, and this value should be shift from index 1 to 2, and this will become empty. 2, 3 and 4 and what, 5. This is operation number 4. Okay, and last one is 5, 4, 3, 2, and this will shift into the this place. So 1, and this will become empty. Okay, this will become empty. So if you see, there are totals number of operation is what? 5. Okay, total number of operation is 5. Okay, so after this operation, this place is empty. Now you can put this value into this place. Okay, so it will take, so each shifting takes off 1 unit of time. Each shifting, it will take off 1 unit of time. And if you have n number of element and it will goes to 10 to the power 5, it will again automatically goes to O of n unit of time, because each shifting it takes O of 1 unit of time, and it will get O of n if the n is bigger. Okay, so this is the insertion operation takes time complexity if I inserting a value into the beginning or starting position. Okay. Now the comes part is, what if I want to put a value into end position. I mean, how much it takes time to place a value into the end position. Okay, so let's see. Again, we have an array. Array have size 6 and have values 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so again, we will see. So again, at A index, there is a laptop C1. There is a index B have a laptop C2. Again, C index have a laptop C3, and D index have a laptop is C4. At E index, there is no laptop. This is the empty space. Okay, and I want to put a laptop into the end position called CX. Okay, so there is a laptop CX and I want to just put into the end place. So how much it takes time to place a laptop called CX into the last position of this desk? Okay, so if you see, there is an empty space. Just if you know the at index E is empty, there is no laptop, and I have to put a laptop which is called CX. So just you will go at index E and just place it. So again, it will take O of 1 second or O of 1 unit of time. There is no shifting because last position I have to put. Okay, and last position is empty. So just you will go and just put into the laptop into that place. Okay, so it will take O of 1 unit of time. So in an array, there is a container have block 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so called array is have size 5, have value 1, 2, 3, 4, and at index is what? 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 4 index is empty. In that block there is no value, and I have to put called x is equal to 5. Okay, into what place? Last place. So last place is empty, just put into that place. So it will take O of 1 unit of time. Okay, so we'll see and remaining part is what there is a inserting a value beginning, middle and end, and rotating the array and reversing the array. Okay, so for the middle part, for the middle part, let's take again same example. You have a desk table and the laptop is at A index is C1, at B index is C2, and at C index is C3, at D index is C4, at the E index is laptop, not, yeah, let's take this place empty. Okay, this is the place where there is no laptop. This is the emptiest place. Okay, so there is a laptop called CX. I want to place a C index. I want to place into a C index, and C index is no empty. There is a laptop called C3. Okay, so somehow you will have to make it empty so that I can place computer CX into this place. Okay, okay. So what will you do? Again, if you know the things, if you in beginning position you are shifting the laptop from last position to the last. Like if the space is empty, you can just shift the value into the empty space, and that space will become empty, where you can pick and just put into that place. Okay, so again here this place is empty, so just you can shift this computer to this place. So at A index, B index, C index, D index, and E index. So this computer will come to this place. Okay, and this place is become empty. So C computer, C3 computer, C2 computer, and C1 computer. Okay, again C index, at C index there is a laptop, there is no empty. So again we will shift the laptop by one position into the right side. Okay, so again at each side there is a laptop C4, and if you see this is this place is empty, so you can shift this computer into this place. Okay, this computer into this place, so this space will become empty. So C3 at D position, C and B and A. So this is the C1, this is the C2. So now the C place is empty. Now you can put this laptop, this computer into this place. Okay, this place. So if I ask you, what is the time complexity in this situation? If I ask you a time complexity and how much it takes in worst case. So you are placing a laptop into the middle position, and you know the things like last place there is an empty. Okay, so in worst case, if you see, this is the desk. Okay, so this is the place A, or not A. This time I will take 1 2 3 dot 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 in place, in index. Okay, and at one place there is a laptop 1 C1, at C2, at C3 dot 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 dot, and in space is empty. Okay, and I have to place a called computer CX into the second position. This is the middle position. This is not the beginning and this is not the end. 2 is the middle of the 1 and 3, between 1 and n. Okay, so this place is empty, nth position is empty, and I'll have to place a computer CX into the second position, and second position is not empty. Second position is not empty. So we will make that place into empty so that I can place CX computer into second position. So if you see, there is a in left of from 3 to n minus 1 position. Okay, so you will have to shift computer by n times, in worst case n times, so that this place will become empty. So it will take again what? Time complexity O of n. Okay, so we'll see operation at beginning, at middle, and end. Okay, so let's dive into the code, like how we will solve this problem. If there is a, if there is someone saying like I have to place value in an array into the beginning position. Okay, so how will you write the code? Okay, so let's dive into the code, into the VS codes. So we'll make a new file. Let's take what operation, text name operation.cpp. Just place into this position. So firstly, we will have to declare include a library using namespace std spa space, then after int main, oh sorry, int main. So there is an array nums, have a size 6 and have value is 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, there is 5 value. At 6 place there is no values, there is a garbage value or maybe some maybe garbage value. If you want to see what the value in the 5th position or last index, just run the loop at 6 times. If you want to see, let's take an, there is a garbage value 0, and in some other compiler you can see some other value. Okay, okay, so I'll have to in operation insert value into the beginning position. Okay, so let's take a value x is equal to 10. Okay, so this is the value 1 2 3 4 5 6. At 0 index value is 1, to at 1 index 2 3 4 and 5. Okay, so directly you cannot place a value 10 into the first position, because if you directly insert, so 1 will be vanished. So now the array becomes 10 2 3 4 5, and again 6 space is empty. So maintain their value, you will have to place x value into the first position. Okay, so now what will you do? For you will run a loop, sorry, you will run a loop from last position, because if you see first operation, in first operation the last position is empty, and second last there is a value. Okay, so you will have to shift that value into the last position, so that second last will be become empty. Just like you are shifting the container into the first position by swiping their value, Okay, by swiping their value. Okay, let's take an imagination. Let's take an imagination. There is a container, and there is another container have a value 5, and there is another container there is no value. So you just what, shifting their position, like there is a 5, there is a empty block, so this block become this place, this block will become this will come this place. Kind of swiping, you swipe their position at 4 index to 5 index. So five, now after swiping at 5 index their container have value 5, and at container 4 at index 4 there is container have no values, there is no value. Okay, just like swifting the value, swiping the value. Okay, so we'll have to run a loop from last index. Okay, so there is a 6 size of array 1 2 3 4 5 6. So 5 and greater than 0 and I minus minus. Okay, okay, so now swap their value. So how will you, there are some way to swap their value. One way is there is a built-in function swap nums of I comma nums of uh, I minus 1, because at 5 index there is a container have no value, at 4 index there is a container have value 5. So at I is equal to 5 have a container no values, at 5 minus 1 4 have a container 5 values. So just swap their values. Okay, after swapping the first container have a empty, there is no value. So now you can place 0 position value x. Okay, so after this you can run a loop from 0 not 0 to 5 not 5s, basically 6 sides, and I plus plus. Now print their values nums of I and I. Okay, so if you run this code, there is a 10 1 2 3 4 5, and all the values 1 2 3 4 5 is maintained. Like there is no like if you see, there is a value 10 as a position, first position, there is a 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, so this is the way you can code for the beginning position if you want to insert a value into the beginning position or starting position into the array. Okay, now the remaining part is middle and end. Okay, so let's take an end position. If I want to place a value into the second end position, this is the code for the beginning position. Insert a value into the beginning position. Now if I have a array nums1 have a size 6 and their initial value is 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, and fifth index there is no value, there is a value but there is a garbage value. Okay, and if I want to x1 have 100, I want to insert x1 value into the last position, last or end position of the array, of the array, of in the array, of in the an array. Okay, okay, so nums1 just you will uh, so last position is empty and you will have to place that computer into the last place. Just go to the that index and just place their value. So nums 6 not 6 5 have a x1. If you run the loop 0 and 6 and I plus plus, it will take not nums1 of I. Okay, so this is the inserting into the end position. Okay, and this will insert into the first position, into first position. Okay, so if you want to calculate the time complexity, so it will take O of n time complexity. In worst case, time complexity is in worst case O of n or big O of n, and this will take time complexity O of 1. Okay, if I run this code, so see what. Okay, just take an end. Okay, so inserting into the first position is 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and inserting into the end position is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 100. Okay, if I ask you to all of you, if if there is an array have size 100 and there is no value, there is initial value is no, nothing, just declaring the array, and it means just declaring the containers name is array, and there is a block, hundreds block, and in that block there is no value, there is a garbage value, there is some garbage value. Okay, there is no initial value. Okay, so what will be the time complexity in the for the insertion in the beginning and insertion in the end? What will be the time complexity? Okay, so in both case, because there is no value, so there is no value, that's why we are not shifting any, we are not swiping any block, there is no operation, okay, so there is no value and there is no swapping, so it will take in both case O of 1 times, O of 1 time, or you can say O of 1 unit of time. In both case, like in inserting into the beginning, and into the end. Okay, this is the best case, you can say, if there is no array element, or you can say there is no uh, initial value in the block. Okay, so remaining part is the middle, we will see in the next session. Okay, and have there is any doubt, just tell me in the comment section, or you can say in a chat box. Okay, so next class maybe we will see how many way we can declare an array. There is some way to declaration of array and initialization of array, and then after we will see 1D array, 2D array, their traversing. Okay, and their traversing in the next session, and then after what, like how many way to declaration of an array or initialization of the array. Okay, then we will see the some of the problems on a LeetCodes and Codeforces, or maybe some other platform, like if you know the GFG, there are some many platform online, GFG, NeetCode, LeetCode, HackerRank. Okay, we will use some of the problems for the practice. Okay,
Great, Sunny. Thank you very much for such a detailed narration on the array basics and the operations and the problem solving on the LeetCode. I'm sure our audience must have got the idea. And as we said, this is going to be a series of data structure and algorithm topics. So Do join us in the next sessions whenever it's been publicized and it's been announced for you guys. It can be through email, it can be through WhatsApp messages, and so on. So do support our initiative, and yeah, that's where we are going to end the session. And hats off to the energy of Sunny, because he has been speaking from last 1.5 hour, and we decided that we'll do this session for 1 hour 30 minutes only, and he just surpassed 10 more minutes. So it's almost 1 hour 40 minutes he has been talking. So it's time to have a treat for him, but you guys can go back and look at the sessions. We'll be sharing the recording, and then if any questions are there, you can put that in the remarks or the comments, and we will follow you along. So
Okay.
thank you very much, guys. Bye bye. See you in the next session.